Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. What is a TERA Memorandum? TERA Memorandum, that's TERA. That stands for Toxic Exposure Risk Activity. In other words, they're saying that you were being active, right? Somewhere in which you could have additional risks, right? So let's read through this. I have an article up because it's kind of nice to kind of follow that and talk about it. So this actually came out, I don't know, 6 months ago or so, and I wanted to just dive into this. They re-pushed this out March 11th, 2024. So in August of 2022, the PACT Act was signed and expanded benefits and services for veterans with toxic exposures during service. The expansion included toxic exposure screenings, education, and research, as well as promoted a change in how toxic exposure claims are processed. Now, if a veteran files a claim for disability and the term PACT Act is referenced, a Toxic Exposure Risk Activity Report, or TERA Memorandum, is compiled for the VA medical examiner to review before providing an opinion. So, they do some extra work, some extra footwork for you. And so let's dive into it here. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. Everyone who does that helps to grow the channel and thus get the word out to more of us. So let's jump into it. What is TERA? The term TERA, Toxic Exposure Risk Activity, is a type of military activity that may expose the service member to occupational or environmental hazards. Specific types of activities are required to be logged into the tracking system. Some activities entered into the exposure tracking record system include chemicals, air pollutants, occupational hazards, radiation, and warfare agents. Chemicals include herbicides, burn pits, sulfur fires, Camp Lejeune water supplies, pesticides, depleted uranium, and industrial solvents. Air pollutants include burn pits, oil well fires, sulfur fires, waste incinerators, sand dust, so all the sandstorms, and very small fine particles or liquid droplets. Occupational hazards include asbestos, industrial solvents, lead, radiation, vibration, noise, fuels, PCBs, and special paint used on military vehicles. Radiation from nuclear weapons and testing, X-rays, and depleted uranium. Warfare agents include chemical and biological weapons, mustard gas, nerve agents, Project 112, Project SHAD, SHAD, herbicide tests and storage, and chemical experiments. These activities and exposures from service may affect the individual's health later in life. In fact, we now have a better understanding of the health effects of Agent Orange exposure from military service, thanks to research. All right, TERA medical opinions. When a veteran claims a disability related to the PACT Act, the team at the regional office will gather data from the exposure tracking record system and compile a TERA memorandum for the VA medical examiner to review that is related explicitly to that veteran. The VA medical examiner must review the TERA memorandum and consider the occupational environmental hazards before providing an opinion on the veteran's medical condition or disability. That is great. When a veteran seeks a private opinion, the TERA memorandum may be necessary to provide to a medical expert, especially if the reasoning for denying the claim for a disability references the TERA memorandum. For example, if the veteran's rating decision reads, although the evidence of record shows participation in a TERA, the medical opinion provided by the VA examiner does not show an association between your claimed disability and in-service TERA. Then the TERA Memorandum is necessary for the medical expert to review. The medical expert needs to understand what types of activities and exposures are reported in the TERA Memorandum, where to find the TERA Memorandum. The TERA Memorandum is uploaded to the veteran's claims file. The veteran may request a copy of their claims file to obtain the TERA Memorandum. Otherwise, the veteran may be able to request the TERA Memorandum from their service officer or representative. So this would be an accredited rep, which is, again, one of the main reasons why I suggest utilizing an accredited representative to help you with your claim, because they can remote desktop into the VA system, pull out the TERA Memorandum, and print it out. Conclusion, the PACT Act expanded benefits and services for veterans with toxic exposure during service, including toxic exposure screenings, education, and research. The Act also prompted changes in how toxic exposure claims are processed moving forward. If the veteran files that disability claim related to the PACT Act, the TERA Memorandum is completed and compiled by the team at the regional office for the VA medical examiner. This is kind of reiterating, providing the TERA Memorandum to a private medical expert may be necessary to refute a claim denial. Reference, so there's 3 references: eligibility for hospital, nursing home, and domicile care in 38 USC 1710. Presumptions of toxic exposure, 38 USC 1119, and PACT Act 101 overview, training, talent management system, Department of the Veterans Affairs, as of September 2023. So here's the thing. If you filed a claim and you referenced PACT Act anywhere in it, or the VA determined that it was PACT Act related, the TERA Memorandum will be compiled to pull up any sort of exposures that you may have been with, right? Then, if you are denied, you need to get a hold of your TERA Memorandum and see what they are referencing. You want to make sure that it's correct. Maybe they missed something for some reason and you can prove otherwise, or they got it, but for some reason the examiner still denied the claim, essentially by stating that it was not that your condition was not impacted by your specific exposures. Then what you would want to do is, well, maybe 2 things. Do a little bit of research, searching the exposures that you had versus the condition you have, to see if there's any relation. Maybe there was a study on it, and you can find studies or risks or what have you of coming down with whatever condition it is based on that exposure. All of that stuff helps to become evidence. Then you'd want to go to another doctor and have your doctor write that nexus letter stating that due to your exposure of X, this condition is more than likely or most likely to have occurred due to that exposure. You can utilize, if you found any sort of research papers by a college or university that indicate that, or that it's more likely that you would come down with that type of a condition due to that type of exposure, you can give that to your doctor so they could utilize that as rationale, as seen by a study, blah, 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 blah. So all of that will help you to substantiate your claim and get it fully adjudicated in your favor, thus being service connected for that condition. So thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.